Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Smitty6166 from Beverage Gamers, and this is a roundup of all the game stuff from the MCM Expo. That has just recently happened in London. It's not called the MCM Expo, sorry, it's the London Comic Con. It's been changed. New owners, new marketing, and so on and so forth. So, without any further ado, all the footage in the background is literally going to be what I recorded on the day. I apologise for the poor quality, I only had my handheld. I don't have my new highly expensive camera which can take feed from a TV, but even then I don't think they would actually let me take feed from the TV for the sake of quality. There we go. Anyway, first on the agenda, Dynasty Warriors 8, and then we'll talk about Deadpool, some of the stuff brought to us by Nintendo, Grid 2, and finally Lost Planet, and then a general roundup of the expo itself. So without any further ado, we shall pass straight into this with Dynasty Warriors 8. Now, this was a game I haven't played since the PSP on release day. That was some time ago. I'm trying to remember how it all worked now. If I remember rightly, it was all about the Three Kingdoms story that's in China, about the whole, Three Kingdoms, they go to war and then make China the country, as we know it today. But they take the story from that and they tweak it here and there, and you sort of fight these great heroes in the conflict. So it'd be like, for the sake of us here in Europe, it'd be like us fighting as Boadicea or Julius Caesar, Augustus. I'm trying to remember a great German that isn't Hitler back in the times when they were the Gauls. Can't even remember. Anyway, moving right on. So yeah, you play as all these great heroes. You mow down enemy troops, and you essentially do all these great adventures and things as that particular person, and it's always been story driven. But the combat was just something to keep you entertained, but the story was the main thing that the game was about. From what I've been told, talking to the various people around during the days, that hasn't changed. It is still a story driven game. What they've done is, though, they've taken advantage of what the PS2 can deliver now with optimized systems and things, and they can actually now give you more characters, more playstyles to play with for the combat, and they still add more to the story. So you still have the likes of Lubu and the Yellow Turban Rebellion as your start, and you sort of progress on from there. And it's still a good game. You know, all the lore is still there if you look deep enough. And one of the things I really do like now, since I last played it, was they've added in this system where you will randomly unlock these new abilities from just doing something simple. So to activate the victory cry, you need to activate your Maozao charge, which is your devil trigger in a Devil May Cry sort of sense, once, and then you get it again for activating it 3 times, or letting the bar get to full and not activate it for 5 minutes or whatever, and then you get all these things, and it actually boosts your Maozao gain speed and things, and that was actually pretty cool. Some of the heroes seem a bit broken and overpowered, especially when you actually get them outright. The ones in the footage was one of the ones me and Tenchi picked, and as you can see, we were both just mowing through everything. We were even using guys as the end of a flail and letting him beat up all his friends without a moment's mercy. And when we got to bosses and captains, it was just, hey, I've got full Maozao, I haven't used it for 2 arenas, as it were, might as well use it now, and then just one-shot him. But anyway, yeah, it's still a great game. It probably got harder, but of course, I only had the 1 level, as they always do with these things, where they're locked down pretty tight, so you don't get a full experience, you only get a first sneak peek, or just a first taster. So, with that in mind, I shall go into the release date of it. In Japan, it's already out. The next people to get it will be in Australia on the 11th of July. Then we in the EU will get it the day later on the 12th, and North America get it last on the 16th. So that's nice to know we get something before the Americans. Now, next game, Deadpool. This one I've been looking forward to because, one, I like the character of Deadpool in the comics and things, where he is zany, he is fourth wall, he's just something that he has serious lore, but he's too much of an idiot for even the writers to take it seriously. So, Deadpool the game, it's a basic hack and slash. You go through rooms, you murder dudes, you get money, you upgrade your swords, your guns, your mutant powers, and just have some fun. I have no idea what the plot is, because when they throw it in, they literally threw you in like midway through a skyscraper level, where you were trying to get someone out of a TV building. And that was all fun. Sorry I don't have any footage of it. I didn't want to record it, I didn't want to feel rude, and sadly there was no one around to actually ask. You know, they're far too busy doing the usual PR and marketing stunts. But yeah, that was pretty cool. My one word of warning is, do not play this like Devil May Cry. You are not an immortal badass. You will go down like a sack of bricks. It is going to take you a while to clear the game. So that mentality of Devil May Cry, at least the way I play it, of charge in and just hit it as hard as you can, doesn't work. The ranged enemies you face that use guns, you have to use guns back because they can mow you down faster than you can charge in. So there's an element of realism in that respect. It's not over the top lunacy. The voice acting in this one is actually very good from what I could actually hear over all the usual background noise from the XL. They actually give you headphones, which is rather nice. So you can actually listen to what was going on. The controls seemed quite good and quite intuitive. The overall combat system was alright. Bit difficult to keep a good combo going through a room, because the range guys are actually smart and will hide behind cover as far away from you as they can. But overall, yeah, it was actually pretty fun. Ryan Reynolds' voice acting is really good, especially the one-liners he comes out with whilst you are actually fighting, so it feels like you are listening to Deadpool play, and also the whole three sides of his personality: Deadpool the person, the loony side, and then the serious side that is saying, hey, buckle up, we gotta do this shit. So yeah, that comes out everywhere on 25th of June, as far as I'm aware. I might do a Let's Play of this on the channel, I don't know. Don't think it'd be justice doing that. So, the third game that I had the joy of playing, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Now this is really more of a port from the Wii onto the 3DS. It was actually, it was quite good actually. It felt like a new Donkey Kong. I haven't played a Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong Country on the N64. Damn. No, not even that actually. I think it was Super Nintendo. Crikey, that was a long time ago. Holy hell, nostalgia. That's all I can feel right now is nostalgia. But yeah, that game was pretty fun. Control-wise, actually not that great. It didn't, like, I'll go up to enemies and previously, jumping on them, fine. Jumping these ones, no. Yet they were the same model and texture. And skin and everything else. So, things are a bit unintuitive unless I haven't played a platform in so long. I've gone completely brain dead as a platformer. But, yeah, it was still pretty fun to play to what little I did. I don't want to play it for too long because sadly some of the latest Nintendo titles have just been, hey, remember that stuff on the Wii? Let's rehash it for the 3DS. Or that stuff on the 3DS, let's rehash it for the Wii U. Make them use that gamepad. But whatever, that seems to be Nintendo's marketing strategy. Not going to knock them for it. We are here for the games, and the game is still good. It is still a classic Donkey Kong platformer. You still have Diddy Kong. You still have the barrels. You still have that obsession to collect the bananas at the end of the game and be an absolute god, as well as collect the Kong for lesser things as you go through the level and try and find all the secret spots where they've hidden them. So as we, before we leave Donkey Kong, release dates, comes out in EU and North America first on the 24th of May, so it's already out. It's already out in Australia because that came out in May 25th. Comes out in Japan on the 13th of June. So that's clearly a American Nintendo launch, not a Japanese one. And it is really rather good. So now on to the final two games which I got to play, which were Grid 2 and Lost Planet 3, I believe. So Grid 2. That comes out on the 28th of May, so it's already out in the North Americas, and it comes out here in the EU at the end of May, start of June, on the 31st. So, not much can be said about Grid 2. It's a racing game. I still enjoy racing games. Sadly though, I only got to play one car, which was a modern day Mustang on the streets of London. Made sense. But sadly, I haven't played the previous Grid game, so I haven't got anything to compare it to. The last racing game I've been playing lately has been Trackmania 2, Canyon and Platform, and all the crazy stadium stuff they've been doing. But anyway, getting right on to the major crux of the matter is that Grid 2 is trying to be Forza, which I don't think they should do. If they really wanted to make a game to compete with Forza, they should actually just move away from Forza. Go back to the old days of racing, where it literally be you hit your throttle, you only hit the brake to go into the turn, you can hit your throttle to get out of it. That's what I'd like to see more of in terms of a racing game. Less on realism, more on just absolute lunacy. But not to the lunacy of Mario Kart, where you can drift just by feathering the throttle and gliding it. But anyway, yeah, it was still a fun game. Sadly, the opponents' cars I got put up against were clearly better. It was here is a Mustang. This is a muscle car. It goes in straight lines only. By the way, you're racing against European sports cars with less horsepower, but they can go around the corner with all the horsepower in the world because they've been designed to, and the physics will allow them to, but not you. But again, I also like the fact though that in Grid they actually put in a permanent damage system, so if you hit a corner too hard or you go into the barriers too hard, your axle will actually bend and then you will start having to struggle to get the car in control and things like that, and that was actually pretty cool. So finally, Lost Planet, that comes out in Japan sometime this year. There was no official release date for it. It comes out in America on the 27th of August and the 30th of August in the EU. Now, Lost Planet has been one of those odd games for me. It's heavy in story, but at the same time it's quite heavy in action. It's trying to be like Resident Evil crossed with Halo. It's sort of my logic on this. And sadly, it doesn't work. It's one of those, it's like oil and water. They won't mix. They'll just layer one on top of the other and you'll get moments of both, but it won't be that perfect moment of a really well-told story in an action setting. Now, from what I've been told by some of the guys who were at that particular stand in the Capcom area, they were trying to go away from the mistakes they made in the previous one, which I will admit went very action-heavy and lost all the story. So this time they're going back to the story of Lost Planet and they're trying to rework and learn from their mistakes, which is always good. It's nice to see developers actually hold their hands up and go, yeah, look, we screwed up on this, we did well on this, but we're going to have to find our balance again. And all in all, it felt like a fun game. Sadly, again, sorry for no footage of Lost Planet. All I got was what I got looking around before I got to play. But the controls are still good. A was jump, right trigger was shoot, left trigger was look down the sight. Clicking the right stick was look down the sights for me. And it still felt really good. And I liked all the lore moments they threw in there about the previous games and about how all the machinery worked off these weird alien creatures on a frozen world where life cannot possibly exist, yet they generate their own body heat and things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. So with that in mind, it only makes sense now to have a nice quick wrap up of the expo itself. The Japan X section for the expo was actually really quite good. I actually got to try some of the noodles that were being sold there, which were delicious, by the way. I've never found noodles so good. But yeah, that was all pretty cool. It was also nice to see the Japanese culture actually come to the MCM Expo, where, let's face it, is mostly anime and manga there. So it made sense for Japanese culture to also be there. Yeah, that was all really kind of cool. The game section was still as fun as always. Would be nice to have developers and not marketing PR. At least one dev on a Friday or whatever, literally give them the day off and then he can have a couple of days in London. But whatever. That was always fun. The usual marketing section, I didn't get the chance to go around. Of course, Tokyo Toys was still there. We've got to have a nice little chat with Hideki. Great guy as always. If any of you live in the UK, or if you want anything for manga or stuff like that, and you can't quite find it on Amazon at a good price, go have a word with Hideki at Tokyo Toys. I'm sure he has it at either a cheaper price or he is willing to haggle. He's always been a good man. And what else can I wrap up on? Well, I suppose the cosplays, really. The other thing I always go down for. Sadly, I couldn't cosplay as Varus because my asthma was playing up. and I didn't really want to walk around with my bare chest in case it was like a really cold day, and like on a Friday when it was soaking wet, and then go Saturday, Sunday when it was an absolute scorcher and people were getting sunburnt. That would have actually really screwed me over. Luckily it didn't, but again, didn't want to take the risk. So with that, I shall have to say it was always a fantastic expo. Thank you very much to the MCM team and the London Comic Con team for putting on such a good event. Hope you all have fun in Manchester and Edinburgh, I think are the next two venues. Then it's back down to London again for October, where of course it falls on Halloween. Once again, the times of goblins and ghouls, or maybe a chain warden who has chains and will want to see what delightful agonies he can inflict. Yes, that is my plan. I plan to go as Thresh, and if possible I might even see if I can mod the lantern to play his logging music everywhere I go, just to really irritate you all. So anyway, remember guys to like, favourite, and all that kind of thing. Like the Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. But I mostly do my stuff on Facebook. The stuff on Twitter is actually linked to my Facebook rantings, so if random things start coming in, I'm sorry, that's me. I try my best to try and sort it out, even though I've unlinked the accounts. They're still linked, and it refuses to unlink. So, with that in mind, I will let you all go. Have a wonderful day, and a wonderful rest of the summer, even though it's raining here where I am at the time of this recording, which is quite miserable. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye.